Good evening, everybody. It's another Saturday evening, and I'm glad to be here with you. I'm excited about today's show. Thank you for all of our guests for always rocking with us every Saturday evening. As you could tell, I'm somewhere different. I'm back uh, in Chicago. I'm glad to be here. My first guest for the summer kickoff, is a friend of mine. We met. I was trying to think about how long it's been since we've known each other.
Oh, wow.
It's been a minute, but I'm glad that she's here with us. I know it's going to be a great conversation. If you do us a favor, do me a favor, share the conversation on your Twitter feed or your Facebook feed, and invite people to be a part of the conversation. But today is with us for the first time. Hopefully, it won't be her last time. My dear friend Lulu, how are you?
What's cooking? Good looking. It's good to be here. It's good to be here in the building.
I
Now, look,
know,
y'all, I've been on a hiatus. He's the only one that
right?
has gotten me off of my hiatus. I
I
think it's the
appreciate
light
it,
skin stuff. His skin all glowing and flowing over there.
and I appreciate it. Thank you for breaking your hiatus and coming to hang out uh,
Anything for you.
with me. How you been?
Look, I used to be in a place where I would say, all is well, I'm doing great, but I've just been adjusting and, growing and learning and,
Mhm.
living this thing called life.
Yeah, it's something else, ain't it?
Man, it'll throw punches and sucker punch you, knock you
Oof,
down.
oof.
It's up to you to get back up, though. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, so we're going to talk more about it. Before we deep dive into all of the interesting stuff that I want to talk about, I usually start off with kind of asking our guests about their origin story. If you had to tell someone your origin story, where would you start, and what would you talk about?
I would start here and now.
Hmm.
I feel like it's just beginning.
Hmm. 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 That's awesome.
And I feel like it's just beginning. So,
Mhm.
anything that has happened in the past has been just that, just the past. And I'm, in a place where I'm encouraging those that love me and those that I love to live in the present,
Mhm.
live right now, because right now is what's most important.
That is a particular philosophical way of thinking.
Yeah.
That um, all we have is our nowness, right? And so
Yeah.
there's a strand of philosophy that says that our lives in every single moment is like hitting a refresh button on a computer. Every
Yeah.
single moment that we are recreating and being recreated, and that perhaps our understanding of history is not as important as our concept of who we are now and what we have now.
Yeah.
That seems like you would have to do some work to to get that kind of understanding. What influenced that kind of way of thinking to be like, you know what, all I got is right now, and this is what's most important.
Well, just recently I lost my mom, December the 12th, 2021 at 12:09. And it was devastating because we didn't know, that we were going to lose her. We were thinking that she was going to come out the hospital. Her body was healthy, she's vegan and, no meat, plant-based diet, taking care of her body, taking care of her health. Always had an optimistic, outlook on life you know, um, and she always lived in the now. And so when I lost my mom and we lost my mom, it was the most challenging and still the most challenging um, portion of my life to really take on, like
Mhm.
head on, because it's like I'm not just dealing with my feelings, I'm dealing with the people that loved her and love her now still. I'm dealing with my son's feelings. I'm dealing with My father, he's been with her since he was 11 years old. You know, she was 11, he was 13. You
Mhm.
know, so our father is still here. So it's like, all I have is right now. You know, and living and growing through everything. Has caused me to embrace my now.
Mhm.
Now I'm not overlooking the history. I'm not overlooking what has happened in my past, whether good or bad. I'm just choosing to redirect my attention, to embrace what is happening in my life now, and to cherish the people that I love, to honor my mom, in a unique way by me being authentically myself right now, because there was a moment when I was challenged with, hey, we're at 7 million people. Everybody's watching, everybody's looking at Lulu, what she's going to do, looking at her son, looking at this, looking at that. And you kind of get lost in all of that. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I went on a hiatus to make sure that I continue to stay true to myself and who I am, embracing the moments that I am in right now, and making the best decisions and the best choices that I can right now,
Mhm.
because this right now, we started at 5 o'clock. However, now it's 5:06. So
Mhm.
those minutes that we have, already been into this conversation, they're gone.
Mhm.
There's nothing we can do about what has happened before time now, So I have just been in that space where, just really cherish, you know, um, every move that I'm making, every decision I'm making to do it out of love,
Mhm. Mhm. Um,
and make those decisions that's best for me. And whatever cup is running over is for others, but whatever is in my cup is
mhm.
for me.
Yeah. No, I get it. Um, I'm sorry about your mom.
Thank you.
Um, it's losing a parent changes you.
Oh, yeah,
Like life is never the same again, and
yeah.
it is sobering. But one of the things that I paid attention to was that um, old idea that I wrote about, that love doesn't recognize death,
Hmm.
right? And so it's just because they're not here anymore doesn't mean that my love died. Like my love
Yeah.
is is heightened, and our grief. And I think I heard Tom Holland. I think he was on one of those Spider Man. I don't know if it was Tom Holland. He was on Colbert and said that our grief is our leftover love. It is the overflow of our love. It is how our love
Mhm.
exists without whomever we love. And and so I totally get that. One of the interesting things though is that we are still in relationship with those who have gone on from us, right? That I am still my father's
Yes.
son, even if he's not here anymore.
Yeah.
And it kind of death reorientates the relationship. Like I've had to go to things because people wanted to award him with things or memorialize him, and I'm his son, and so I go to represent him. And so sometimes, in some ways, they're very, very present in our lives, even if they're not here anymore. I'm wondering what your experience and how the relationship with your mother has changed. Have you noticed it's changed since she's been away from you?
Um, so me and my mom really worked on our relationship. You know, um, as you're growing up, parents be like, "Hey, do as I say," and they have these expectations on you and the things that they desire for your life, And I didn't grow up in a typical home that you would say, is out here. I grew up with a two-parent home. On top of that, both of my parents was doctors in divinity and they were pastors. So I grew up in a definitely different, type of environment, but it was full of love and compassion and it's full of support. So every event, you know, that I've done, my mom was there, you
Mm-hmm.
know, all the way up into, you know, me even revamping, you know, my businesses, you know, even up until this point. She was there. She saw me open up my candy store, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and so the challenging thing is that when you have active parents and an active family,
Mm-hmm.
they don't kind of just leave you by the wayside. They're actively a part of your development and growth. Um, that thing is that's the most challenging, you know. However, I've been able to really pull on the love that I got, you know. You know how Facebook have the memories that come up, and there would
Mm-hmm.
be memories that'll come up, and I would see my mom like a picture. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we finally got her, you know, on Facebook, and she would like a picture, or she said, you know, words of endearment to me. I love you. Hey, this is your mom. Like I don't see the name that says, you know, that it says her name. You know, and so I pull on that even now. You
Mm-hmm.
know, before I transition, you know, with the things that I'm doing now and transition my business activities and stripped everything down. Me and her had a conversation about purpose, you know, operating in your purpose, operating in your gifts. And she apologized to me. She apologized to me for, you know, telling me to shut up, Tanya. you know,
Mm-hmm.
you know, she said, because I want you to become everything that God has desired for you to become, you know, and not what I think you should be, you know. So those were and still are things that I pull from my relationship with my mom, you know, because, you know, she had very strong opinions about how she felt about things. And, you know, she did not hold her tongue, you
Mm-hmm.
know, but, you know, as we get older, we are adults, you know, and ways that they talk to us when we were kids, you know, we don't receive it well as
Mm-hmm.
adults, you know, and we kind of transition as adults. You know, we have our own kids, you know, we have our own, you know, this and own that, you know. And so I share with my mom, I say, hey, you know, I really want to work on our relationship and how we communicate, you know. And I told her, I said, you know, in that being said, I think that you don't really listen to me. You listen to respond, but not listening to understand where I'm coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And we continue to work on that so much so that she was too quiet on the phone because I was used to her
Mm-hmm.
saying stuff, you know. And then I said, Mom, you still here? And she said, yeah, I'm still here. She said, well, we talked about me listening, you know, better to you and how you feel. And I'm listening to you. And she was able to regurgitate everything that I said. And so I pull on that now, you know, even in how I mother my son. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm a mother of a 17-year-old boy, and he's no longer a boy really. He's gone into his adult, you know, adulthood. You know, he's making his own decisions, and you know, so I really poured on that relationship with my mom. You know, even now.
Let me ask you this, since I have you here, and I'm glad
Always.
you broached this subject. One of the fascinating things as a man
Hmm.
that I have observed in relationships is this very complicated relationship between mothers and daughters. Um, I have stood outside of it and viewed it through my friend's life because my mother had three sons. So it was, it was pretty, it was pretty, um, e- I'm not going to say it wasn't emotionally complicated at times, but um, it wasn't what I observed in some of my friends who are women with their relationship with their mother. Could you help me understand on some level from your experience why that relationship is can be so emotionally fraught um, from a very very young age, especially when the daughter is coming into young adulthood and having her own and her maybe her own house, her own kids, and that relationship seems to be unfinished or unfurnished in some ways. What do you think? Why do you think that is?
Um, I think that it does stem from your relationship with your father. And
Mhm,
then now you have a child that is a son. And so you have unfinished business with your father or your home idea of fathers,
mhm,
or a male perspective, maybe. I had an active father in my home
mhm,
where he was the man of the house.
mhm,
My mom was the support, and when my daddy said something, it went. And my daddy didn't make no decisions without my mama.
mhm,
So it just was a different dynamic coming up. And there was three girls and one boy. So
mhm.
um, with my brother, all of us took care of my brother. He was well speak to it. The only thing that I can say with my son, I did actively make sure that he was not in the place of being my man as a single mother. That he continued to stay my child. And
Mhm,
even as I got older, when my parents would say, hey, he's the man of the house, no, he's my son that's living in the house.
mhm,
So I had to make sure that I redirected that conversation so that also to my mind would try to think that he ain't my man. He can't do nothing my man can do. He
mhm,
is my child, that I am growing up to be a strong, confident, and independent man that would then take on, his own life and preferably a wife and kids, and he would be the leader in that house. Maybe my son can speak to that perspective too,
No,
because
I'm asking you about the mother-daughter relationship.
I'll see mother daughter.
Yeah.
I
When you
thought you
said
were
that
trying to
you all had to you had to be kind of intentional about, kind of reframing your relationship where your mother listens and you feel heard, that could be kind of complicated for mothers and daughters. And
say.
so why do you think that is?
I misunderstood. I'm
Hmm.
sorry.
Hmm.
I think that it can be that way, just like a father and a son could be that way. You kind of see yourself through them, and you kind of see, mistakes that you have made, and they're getting ready to make the same mistakes, and you're
Hmm.
trying to guard them or keep them from making those same mistakes.
Hmm. Hmm. Is that the way you experienced it in the
It can
moment,
be.
or is that the way, looking back over your shoulder, that's kind of how I understand it now?
Wait, say that again because it went out. What you say?
I said, is that how you understood it in the moment, or is that how you understand it now, looking over your shoulder?
That's how I understand it now.
Okay.
In the moment, you're not going to feel that way because one, in the moment, most times we're not at the level of emotional maturity to even
Hmm.
understand how we feel.
Hmm.
So we're trying to be our own and stand on our own 2 feet, be our own woman, and make our own decisions. But however, we still have the conversations, of our parents or our mother, hey, don't do this, don't do that, this decision is the best decision. And we're trying and fighting against those two conversations in our head. Hey, do I choose the way that I want to go, or do I choose what my mom says? And so I fought with that for a long time because her expectations of me were very high. You know, um, and so, with that being said, it was like I was kind of rebellious because some of the things that she said I should have listened to. Certain people that came into my life, I allowed in my life. However, she foresaw, that something was not right. And I still allow those people and to enter into my life. And so now, the conversation with my son is the most important things that you can do in your life is not where you live at, not what school you go to. It's not about how much money you make, but it's about the people you allow in your life that's going to be the roots of your tree.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know, um, Things, of course, would have been different, but I wouldn't change anything for the world because now I'm able to be a better person,
Hmm.
and not just a better person, but a better mother, and how I approach the conversation with my son.
Mhm.
And I think the one thing that I appreciated about my relationship with my mom, that even though I did not understand some things that she was trying to explain to me, when I didn't understand or I had a rebuttal to it, her conversation was not to pull me down. It was always to lift me up. And I was like, hey, I know that you don't understand this right now, but I'm asking God to give me wisdom on how to mother you,
Mhm.
because I know that each one of my children are different. And I'm asking God to give me wisdom on how to mother you and how to articulate things in a way that you can understand it. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Where it won't be where it's combative, but you can really receive it in love. And she really worked on that thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Well, let me ask you this, because this podcast is about love, kind of
Yeah.
publicly talking about love, and so one of the questions I ask all the guests is who taught you about love, and who gave you your language about love?
My parents taught me about love.
Mhm.
When I asked my mom, and I had said this at her celebration, when I asked my mom, you know, why did you have us? And her conversation to us was, I wanted every last one of you. I wanted you. I desired you. And every child that I had, God gave me. And so I was taught that unconditional love from them. My parents wanted us, and they came together. They did not have the family that they created. They didn't have a mother and a father in the home. You know, my mom actually thought someone else was her father until she learned at the age of 14 that he was not her father. 14 years have gone by,
Mhm.
and she learned that the man that she was told was her father was not her father.
Mhm.
My dad, his father was not in the home. His father actually had another family,
Mhm.
and so for them to come together and choose each other and choose to have a family and put God in the center of it all, that was my first introduction to love and what love is and how to work things out. And then love covers a multitude, and
Mhm.
then, they taught us through God's love, by
Mhm.
putting us in church, and
Mhm.
teaching us, the way that He loves us.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, people can say, hey, there is conditions. Yeah, there is conditions, but there is a love that's forgiving and kind and gracious and calm
Mhm.
and peaceful. And the crazy thing is, people don't think that we can have that right now here on earth, but yes, you can. You are deserving of that type of love.
So, sounds like you and I kind of grew up the same way. We were like our faith was really prominent in our households,
Yeah,
and that has an influence on how we define love, especially early on in our lives.
yeah.
And sometimes, maybe that's good, and sometimes maybe it's bad. How did you experience um, growing up in a house where love and faith were kind of present for you, and how did that shape you when you started dating? Yeah.
It was definitely an eye opener.
Mm.
Okay. Um, I would say this. My conversation with my girlfriends was, hey, Lou, you need to start dating. Date to date. I date. I don't date to date. I date to be married. And so that has always been a hard place in the past for me. Because when I got up into the world of dating, every man does not have the same, wherewithal, or emotional maturity, as I've mentioned before.
Mhm.
They're not present in their own life, or they're trying to define who they are as a man.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, some women are along for the ride,
Mhm. Mhm.
and so that was very challenging. because when I went out into the world and decided that I wanted to date, my concept of dating was, hey, a man is going to find me and I am going to welcome him and we're going to get married and then have that was not the case. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Mhm.
I can still count on one hand how many people that I have allowed in my life to date. You
Mhm.
know, only because I cherish companionship, I cherish relationships, and I am just respectful of how I love, and I don't assume that other people are going to love to the capacity. So I've come to a grip where now at this point, you
Mhm.
know, um, I can't expect people to love in the capacity that I love in,
Mhm.
but I also am open to how they love and determine if that is something that I am okay with.
Mhm.
And if I am not okay with
Mhm.
it, then it's okay for me to walk away.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's go back for a minute because there's a lot of interesting things.
That was compacted, right?
No, 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 no. It's great. Um, I growing up in church. I've heard when we were in youth departments, youth meetings, or whatever that
Mm,
you date to marry, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
the idea was that dating is this path to marriage. And I would dare say that that was maybe told to you all as girls and wasn't told to us. Um,
yeah,
um, and so on one side they're telling you all to date to marry. On the other side, they're not telling us that. Like it's basically go out and enjoy yourself, and kind of have the experience and see what you like and what you don't like. And then in my early 20s when it was starting to get serious about want to settle down and think about marriage and all the like and start dating, and then you go to dinner with somebody and say, well, I only date to marry. And I'm like, so you want me to negotiate the rest of my life over dinner right now? Like, I don't know you well enough to know if like, that's insane. Like, what? Like, I guess just I don't understand. Like, this dinner costs way too much. I just thought we was going to sit down and have. I didn't know I was going to leave here with a wife. It's just kind of, and so perhaps maybe when we say dating, maybe we're meaning two different things, right? Is
yeah.
dating dinner, um, or is dating more of an exclusive? We're in each other's lives, we're consistent, and we're marching toward whatever goal.
Well, I think dating in this time is dinner, dinner, and I have a couple, like, I have maybe five on my roster, you know what I'm saying? And I'm, switching them out, That's what dating is now. They may have just a little bit more on their roster, you know what I'm saying? At this age for me, at the age of shine into 42,
Mhm.
the concept of dating is more so, hey, this is my intention, towards you. You know what I'm saying? I, have went out with you 3 times. This is what I see. Most times, men already know coming into something or having a first
After three
conversation.
dinner dates, where I'm supposed to know.
No, but some men do because hey, we're not young cookies anymore, right?
Okay. Okay.
There is a certain, and men have their tuition just like women do.
Hmm.
There's some men that go into a date with the idea of, hey, I am searching and God direct me on who, my mate is. And so they sometimes foresee, you
Hmm.
know, who this person could be to them. And then they want to explore that to see if that's really who that person is for them. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, dating is definitely different than what it was. I'm not 20 anymore. I'm about to be 42. So If you're gonna come to the
You
table,
just said that's you just said all we have is right now. That's what we
yeah,
started
that's all.
off with.
Look, if you gonna come to the table, I'm ready to explore the world, and I just asked myself a hard question
Mm-hmm.
because I have been single for 8 years
Mm-hmm.
intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
Intentionally, I have been single, for 8 years.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Because I felt like there was a lot of trauma that happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed to make sure that I didn't take that into anything else, and I wanted to make sure that, the next relationship that I got into, I could identify it being healthy or I can identify it being toxic,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to make sure that I did the self work on myself. So many times we go into something and we go back to back thinking, hey, it's going to be different this time around. But if you're still holding the same garbage and the same baggage and you have not done any self healing or any therapy or anything that you need to do for yourself to understand what it is that you're some self awareness. Like, if you haven't done that work on yourself, there is no way that I can be healthy for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And in the next stage of my life, I had to ask myself those hard questions about, hey, Lou, do you really want to get married? Like, do you really want to be in a committed relationship? Or do you want to be single and travel the world?
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you really, really want?
Mm-hmm.
Because you are amazing. So do you want to hold
You
this just to
absolutely
the,
are. You
thank
absolutely.
you, thank you. So it's like, do you really want to hold this all to yourself and
Right.
to,
Right.
just your girlfriends? Or do you really want to just, be somebody's favor? You know what I'm saying? you know? And I came to it was a hard conversation because look, Patrick, I had the conversation for a good 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I had the conversation for a good 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
to really define what it is that I desire.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to remain open or do I want to continue to just do what I've been doing, enjoying and embracing the now, right?
Yeah.
And so I came up with the I came up with the conversation because my son asked me, he said, Ma, hey, so uh you don't give people too much time to be in your life. So what you doing, Mama? Are you gonna date? Are you gonna, what you doing? And I said, so
Mm-hmm.
that probed the conversation with myself really, is because my son asked me. I ain't gonna say the other stuff he had asked me because he, we,
So
but I have very candid conversations with
that's
my
great.
son.
That's healthy. That's great. Um, so I think early on when we learn about love, it's about what we receive from it.
Mm,
Especially in church, right? That for God so loved the world that He gave. That love is giving. That love breathes and exists through and manifests through what we give. Um, and what we receive. I don't think for in my tradition, they taught us what to do when love leaves, right? And being a teenager, having breakups, having your heart broke for the
yeah.
first time is absolutely devastating. But I
Mm,
think it is a skill that we all should learn as we get older and mature that um, when I was younger, I thought every breakup had to be, I hate you, get out of my life. I don't, I never want to talk to you again. Until you get a little older and realize that's way too much energy. And we could just have a conversation and be like, you know what, this might not be the best for both of us. And let's just be cool and remain friends. I'm interested in how you learned how to heal from broken relationships or relationships that didn't work out the way you wanted them to work out? And did you get better at breakups as you got older?
Um, there's different kind of loves that come into your life at different stages, and you have a different level of emotional maturity or maturity at different stages of your life. And so when I was younger and broke up, it was like, okay, I'm cool, but I never was in short relationships. I've always been in long relationships where it be 3 to 5 years, 7 years, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I never was in short relationships. But how does Virgo come in? This Virgo is,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'm Virgo, so it's like, okay, lesson learned, over with, move on, forgot you ever existed. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But that it just depends on the level of hurt that happened. And so I had to like kind of re-challenge that, for myself and, be like, hey, you know what? This person came into your life for a reason now. You decided to put them in this space.
Mm-hmm.
They came in as an assignment, but you decided to put them in a different space in your life. They wasn't supposed to stay in your life. They wasn't supposed to be a relationship per se or intimate relationship in that way. They were supposed to be an assignment, or they were just supposed to be somebody that came and went. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and so, as I continue to grow, my thought pattern has been, allow people the space to show who they are and allow your discernment to step in to say, who they can be, in your life per se,
Mm-hmm.
and don't emotionalize it, keep everything light, and if this is somebody that's supposed to stay in your life, it will be revealed, that they're supposed to stay in your life. But don't rush it. Don't sit up here and try to, go write down your name and put his last name on your name on your name. Like
Mm-hmm.
none of that foolishness.
Mm-hmm.
Allow people to be who they are you know, and don't rush somebody into being something that they've never been supposed to be, never was supposed to be in your life. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, it caused me to heal differently,
Mm-hmm.
because one recent, situation that happened, the person who was in my life for quite some time, and it was just like, man, their words and their actions didn't match up, and so I had to strip the words down to the action, you know what I'm saying? And I had to learn that, like, look, people can say whatever they want to, but their actions will display what they really want to do. You know what I'm saying? And so, in learning that and having these hard conversations with myself on what my needs are, it changed my dynamic and how I view any relationship that come into my life. And I don't care if they've been in my life for over 2 years. If it's time for us to part ways and it's time for us to readjust, then it's time for us to readjust. They're no longer fit, in the way that I used to, and I just have to change their dynamic. So, as of late, growing into this space has been, hey, people come into your life for a reason. You learn, and it's not no such thing as heartbreak or rejection. They're just showing you who they are and who they're supposed to be to you. You just have to allow them that space to be that, and don't try to make it something more than what it actually is. So I've learned and healed differently because of that.
Mm-hmm. So, and you can help me if I'm wrong. Listening to you, and you're looking at someone's words and their deeds, and seeing that they're not exactly who they need to be for you. Does that presuppose that in every relationship that you've had, it was always them um,
No,
that led to the detriment of a relationship?
no,
Mm-hmm.
it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole thing about, stepping back,
Yeah.
so that you can see yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Relationships reveal who you are if you
Sure.
pay attention.
Yeah.
Most times when people are in a relationship, they just looking at the other person, but they don't see themselves. They don't see, hey, I see that this has traumatized me in the past, and now because this person has done this, or I've brought this toxic behavior into this relationship. You know what I'm saying? And that's the whole point of letting go when you're supposed to let go. And you know what? I noticed that I'm not, I'm not the right person for you. And I have let situations go because I'm just not the right person for you.
Yeah.
So you should have scouted out my friends before you settled in on me. Like, I'm just not the right person for you. And I am okay, with walking away, but I also have to walk away in the sense of letting them know, hey, it's not you at all. It's just that I have some more growing to do. And, I'm not going to pull the best out of you. And
Mhm.
so I've learned that early on. Like, if I'm not pulling the best out of somebody else and they're
Mhm.
not pulling the best out of me, we're not in a good space for each other because I want to be in a space where I'm growing,
Yeah.
and I'm developing and I'm never in a space where I am going to just be the same Lou that you met. Like the same Lou you met all those years ago. This is not her.
Mhm.
I have evolved, and grown up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Went through a couple lessons learned, and still some more
I with that being said, I'm interested how we understand past relationships
to go.
and old love, right? Um, I am to a point in my life now that I feel like I am the best version of myself.
Mhm,
Um, but there's a lot of wisdom that was learned that was very costly, right?
mhm,
I went through my trauma and ups and downs and all the like, and looking over my shoulder, it's like, well, I am accumulation. The man I am is accumulation of all of those loves, the loves that were good for me, the loves that devastated me and shattered me. And yet what I bring now, to any relationship, is a man that is a result of all of those mistakes, and some were absolutely my fault, and then some was, it happened to me, and that is what it is. I'm interested in how you understand, um, your past relationships having a hand in making you the woman that you are right now.
I think for me, if I loved you, I loved you.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And some type of loves you don't never walk away from. They stay with you
Hmm.
and define you in different areas because it allows you to grow.
Hmm.
I think for me, recognizing that, hey, this is somebody I love. I told them I love and I love them. However, I've learned, that this type of love defined me and made me better for who God has for me. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? So for instance, last relationship, I would say, challenged me because I'm very alpha male, female, right? I have my own house, I have my own this, I have my own that, I am a single mother, and I have taken on a lot of masculine roles, because I am, the head of my household, right? And so my last situation really taught me how to become more polished and refined, how to become more feminine, like, look, step back, allow this man to be who he is designed to be, the man,
Hmm.
and it really taught me those things, how to talk to a man, like you don't belittle no man, not if you want some real results. You don't belittle nobody, you don't talk down to nobody just because you had this, that, and the other, and we tend to, when we are the master or the head of our own household, we tend to take on that role when it comes to a relationship. And
Hmm.
if you want it really God's way, the man is the head, and just reassuring myself, hey, look, you can lean into this, and you don't have to, do that, this, that, and the other. You don't have to guide the ship. You have to just support, when support is needed. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? And so I learned that, from that situation, and it allowed me to be better with whatever comes next. So it's like you don't leave those lessons. you carry those lessons over, but you got to make sure that when you carry them over, you're not carrying over the trauma from it as well. You
Right.
know, you're not carrying over the toxic things as well.
Mhm.
And I would say to anybody, the hardest thing in defining a healthy relationship is coming from a bad one. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so when you really, do the self work on yourself, even if you get into a healthy relationship, you're going to have some traits there. But the thing is, be open, to love again. Like, even in everything that I have been through, I have remained open, to love again and to receive the love because I'm deserving of that love. I am deserving of that love.
Absolutely. Can you unlove someone?
No, I wouldn't want to.
Hmm.
I wouldn't want to. What is the point of that? If I loved you, I loved you. And I pulled away the because some relationships are not going to be hunky dory and we friends and all of that stuff. Some relationships you just got to cut ties. Ain't no need of holding on to that because you don't need to take that into your present.
Right.
So I just appreciated the love that I have for someone, and if they don't appreciate the love that I gave them, that's not on me. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That's not on me. But what I do with my care, for what's next is
Hmm.
you okay over there?
No, I know. I lost you for a minute. That's all. No, no, no.
Okay, I said
I'm with
whatever
you.
I do next is on me. You know what I'm saying? So I
Right.
can't. I'm not trying to unlove nobody.
Right.
I got enough love for everybody. I have no ill will towards anybody. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I've learned, I've grown, I'm becoming the woman that you see today. And
Hmm.
it only gets better, you know?
I I've been thinking about something lately that um, meeting someone, let's say in our own age bracket, um, they come with their own relational history, right? There are people in their lives who they never want to see again, and yet there are some people who they used to see that they still carry with them in some ways, right? That there's um, relationships in their life that have been very meaningful to them, even if it didn't work out the way they wanted to work out. And so, if I bring somebody into my life, one of the things that I have to do is to respect the love that they've carried or had for other people. And sometimes that could be intimidating, right? Sometimes you have to do work on the relationship where um, sometimes if there's a baby father, baby mother somewhere, or if a person may be divorced and they're single now, and now reestablishing a relationship, knowing that they're bringing some stuff with them. Um, I'm interested in how you think about that on the other side, that that I can't unlove someone, they're part of me, even if there's distance now. But on the other side of that, to think that about someone you may bring into your life, is is that intimidating for you to think, well, this person, this man comes with a relationship history that I may never know anything about.
No, because you belong to me. No,
Mhm.
those things shaped you into the man that I will love, and cherish and honor and respect. You know what I'm saying? So those things don't intimidate me because I know who I am and the favor that I put on my husband's life. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not intimidated by anything because anything that he's had, most likely I can carry. And it's not for me to carry, but I'm there with him. You know what I'm saying? It's it just is what it is. I was with, someone that had three baby mamas. You know what I'm saying? Three baby
Mhm.
mamas, three different kids.
Mhm.
But those kids, I love them as my own. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And they were deserving of that type of love from me. I cannot, tell. The question is, do you love me?
Mhm.
Do you want to build with me? Do you want to grow with me? Do you desire and, want this thing called life with me? And that's all that matters to me, because anything that, has happened before, all it is foundation.
Right.
All it is foundation for us to grow and, to love on each other and, explore one another. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see that as imitate, as a minus at all. You know what I'm saying? If anything, I was like, bring it on. Let's see what you got.
I get it. I totally get it. That's great. That's absolutely
It
great.
gives you more character, like it gives the relationship character. It allows me to know how to love you and how to love you well. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Like for me, my intention for who God, opens me up to next is to love them with intention. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? To love them the way that God loves them,
Mhm.
at least just a little bit, and then when they look in my eyes, they only see God's love for them. You know what I'm saying? And I want to be his peace.
Yeah.
I want to be desires. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to hold him to anything that has happened in the past. It's the past. She the past for a reason. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? I'm the president. I'll be like, come on, baby, bring it on. I got you.
I think one of the things that makes our relationship successful is how good of a teacher we are
Mm, yeah,
to the people we love. Sometimes, we have this idea of love, and it's like a template, and it's like, okay, I'm here now, so I'm going to love you like
right.
this, and you may be giving someone something that they don't even need, right? And you could be
Yeah,
sincere trying to love them, but they don't see it, they don't comprehend it, they don't understand it because it's not what you need. Like, for instance, one time, long time
put
ago,
it on.
long, long time ago, um, I was seeing someone, and I had been single for a minute, so I was, pretty independent, moved away. I wanted to move out, just take care of stuff. And this was very early on in the relationship. But she asked me one day, she was like, well, what do you need from me? Like she said, do you want me to cook? Do you need me to run errands for you? Do you need me to drop this off? Do you need me to do this? And I said to her, because we were just talking, I said, well, no, I'm good. I cook for myself. I can get around, do all the things I need to do. I'm good. Thank you. And I thought that was really sweet of her to, ask that. But I was like, I'm good. It wasn't until like a year later that it dawned on me because I'm slow. That what she was really asking is, how can I be a part of your life? Like
Yeah,
what space can I come in and occupy? And this is the way I'm caring about you. Um, it was just that what she threw out was like, I got that. Like I don't need, I don't need a cook. I don't need a maid. I got that. Um, but she was trying to be a part of my life the way she understood this is the way a woman is a part of a man's life. This is what you do. This is how you engage. Um, but and my failure was I didn't hear that when she said it. I didn't understand it then. And then I didn't have any openings in my life that she saw that allowed her to feel like she's a meaningful part of our life. And so it was twofold. She was trying to love me based off a template, and I wasn't open enough to see, or emotionally intelligent enough to see exactly what this whole conversation is about. Have you looked in over your relationship sometime and be like, well, our love language was miscommunicated to each other, and perhaps if I would have understood, or perhaps if you would have said this different, then maybe things could have worked out a little differently?
Um, Past relationships, I'll keep it there.
Hmm.
Now, as far as the lesson from them, there's a thing as far as being in someone's life and being a part of someone's life.
Hmm.
And normally early on, you can tell what that looks like.
Hmm.
If you are a part of someone's life or you in someone's life. In someone's
Explain
life,
that. Explain that to me. I
yeah,
think that's
in
fascinating.
someone's life, it's like, hey, let's go hook up, let's go out, da da da. A part of someone's life is, hey, babe, I got this going on. That what you think about it? You know what I'm saying? You got any, any take on that? Or I got this, that, and the other going on. Can you come with me? I would love for you to be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? And you actually incorporate them and make them a part of your life. Hey, I'm doing something with the kids, and this, that, and the other. I would love for you to be a part of it. Or if he doesn't have any kids, hey, you got a child, or whatever, however you want to say it, let's go out, and hang out. So you becoming incorporated in his, a part of his life. You know what I'm saying? And he's making ideas or creating an avenue or creating a space, for you to be a part of his life. It is like, hey, I'm just about to get dressed. You want to go out for drinks? Hey, we're going to go on a date. But there's no, in-depth conversation. There's no, history made or no foundation set, where you are incorporated into his life. You know what I'm saying?
I get it. I get
And
it.
that's needed for someone like me.
Hmm.
My natural gift is to give.
Hmm.
And I always say this to people, like, when you're getting into a relationship, it's very important that you understand that person's love language or what their needs are, because if they don't naturally speak your love language, yeah, there's going to be some gray areas. But if they don't naturally speak one of your main love languages, you're going to have a problem with that relationship, period.
Hmm.
Because there's going to be a conversation that is not going to be understood by the other party.
Right.
Or you're not going to be able to articulate it in the way that you need to because it's not naturally their love language that they give out. So for instance, if you are a person that love to be touched, it could be, hey, I'm in the kitchen, and you just come and, touch my back. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's naturally what you would do because your love language is touch. So you like touching me.
Hmm.
It's going to be different than someone that comes in the house and don't even give me a kiss. Hey, baby, good morning. Or hey, baby, good night. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? It's going to be a different conversation, a different dynamic. We ain't going
Hmm.
to last.
Hmm.
We ain't going to last. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? So I think that, people need to meet other people at their love language and decide if that's something that they can give that other person and don't do it just because they hard to get. Do it because that's actually somebody that you want and you're intentional about being with them. And I think that that's what's going on a lot now. People just deal with people just because they want companionship. No, be with them because you really want to be with them and be with them because, you can meet them on the same page that they're on.
Right. Right. Um.
But
We.
you know what, too, real quick? I
Hmm.
got to say this too.
Hmm.
That's a power to give her wisdom on how to love her husband.
Say that again. You cut out for a minute.
I got you. A power of a praying woman
Okay.
will give a different dynamic to a
Mhm.
relationship because, where there is ins and outs, you know what I'm saying? That woman, if she knows how to pray and get to the throne and she gets tapped into you,
Mhm.
whether y'all, the code habitated or not.
Mhm. Mhm.
But God has given her wisdom on how to love you correctly. It's
Mhm.
gonna be a different dynamic because certain things you're not gonna even ask for that she's gonna automatically do. And I'm looking forward to that type of love where that man is so in, he in the throne, you know what I'm saying? He can feel me. And
Mhm.
God gives him clear instructions on how to love me correctly. And
Mhm.
what's crazy is people don't think that that type of love exists,
Mhm.
to exist. And stop being so scared.
Mhm. No, I get it. I get it. We're gonna wrap up in a minute, but I had a couple of more questions for you. Uh,
Gotcha.
so, being a you could correct me if I'm wrong, a single mother,
Yeah.
very early on in your life, um, having your church background and parents and in ministry and the like. What was that experience for you? And then how did the love you experienced with your child, how did it add to you and how did it change you?
Well, one, you know, being a single mother coming into the church and also having a title on your name, and now you're pregnant, unmarried, that was devastating.
Hmm.
Okay. That was very devastating. I had to get sit down and all of this other stuff. My anointing didn't change. It was just like, I ended up um, pregnant, but however, I love my son. I wanted him.
Hmm.
When I was 13, I got hit by a car, and the doctor said I would never be able to have a child. And my mom looked at me and she said, all of my kids can have kids, you know. And she looked at me and said, you will have a child. And so when I got pregnant with my son, I didn't see it as a failure. I was disappointed by the church, and how it was dealt with. But however, I love my son, and I gave him all of that love that I felt like I was not getting in those moments. And so moving forward, that was my prayer, that I loved him to the capacity that he needed to be loved at. And it's even my prayer now, because our kids change, they grow, they develop, they grow up. Even I, did the same thing. We didn't come out walking, we came out, in our parents' arms, and then we were cultivated, and then, crawling, and then walking. It's not like we came through this life, you know, ready for it. You know what I'm saying? We had to go through the growing pains and go through the process. And so loving him has been a process because he's a different person. I can't expect him to be who I thought he should be. I can only love him to the capacity that he needs to love, and pray that it overflows. So, my prayer, as I think it was about 38, I had a epiphany. Like, you know what? Some things was challenging in that moment, and I was like, man, Lord, teach me how to love the people that are in my life correctly and love them to their capacity. And since I said that prayer, things have been a lot better, because you don't overdo it. You don't inflict your own idea of what love is on that person, but you love them to their capacity. And I even did a test on him to find out what his love language was,
Hmm.
so that I can love him correctly and ask him those probing questions like, hey, what do you need from me as a mother? You know what I'm saying? And how can I do things better? And even how I talk to him, because he's a human being. Just because he's my child don't mean that I should degrade him or talk to him in any kind of way. He's
Hmm.
a human being, and I want him to reflect that type of love when he get a family. You know what I'm saying? So, I would say, yeah, all of those things has transformed the way that I love.
Wonderful. Um, Tell us a little bit about your business. I know you said you had been on hiatus for a minute,
Yeah.
kind of rearranging yourself. But I met you as a businesswoman, as an influencer, and I know that's changed for you over time. And so, what is it like being a black woman who's an entrepreneur and making some shifts and some turns in your business?
It has been an eye opener. When I first started out, it was industry buzz with 3 Z's, reaching over 7 million people online, radio, TV, magazine, buzzing off awards and all of that stuff. And then a couple of years ago, it was just like, hey, let's strip everything down,
Hmm.
and really make sure that I'm operating in purpose opposed to um, just doing something at this point. You know what I'm saying? To keep it going. From the Buzzing Off Awards, because I saw myself deteriorating. When you're in that feeling, you're a giver, all you feel is people taking. taking.
Mhm.
And there was no cup being filled back up because I had no problem with giving.
Mhm.
And so I really had to reset myself, like really totally reset myself because I'm one that feels people, like I feel the energy and spirits and I feel stuff. Don't be fake with me. You ain't gotta be fake. You know what I'm saying? Just be who you are, authentically who you are, because most likely I'm gonna give you what you're asking me for anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Part about being, a trailblazer as far as, media and media influencer. So I had to just step back and make sure that in this season I was doing. So I revamped and I have Take Action Partners, which is a digital content, company where we assist people in connecting to their target audience, through social media. So I help manage a lot of social media pages, and build those pages up, help them with their content. And I'm more so like a business consultant. I do notary as well now, and I also can marry people as well. So
Look at
um,
you.
I know, right? So that has fallen under that umbrella. My latest client is Keep It Moving,
Mhm.
CA.com, Keep It Moving, CA.com. And Keep It Moving, they do a lot of events, and they're bridging the gap within the community to bridge real estate and music, because music is a connector to everything, but real estate is also the connector to everything and
Mhm.
giving a lot of financial literacy. So has been still the purpose of engaging in my target audience and giving them information that is not, privy to them. So that within itself has been, as a Black woman, people don't take you serious, sometimes, and
Mhm.
they kind of overlook you. Hey, I
Mhm.
can't be overlooked, but it doesn't matter at this point, whatever color I am. It does not matter. What matters is my heart and me moving in purpose and, knowing that at this point, God connects and opens the doors that no man can shut. And so every place that I'm in, I'm there for a reason. And my name is in places that it would have never been if I
Mhm.
want to operate it in purpose. And then I decided to, I love candy coming up. We had a candy store coming up at the church, and I would buy $20 worth of candy.
Mhm.
And so I started a candy store. It's called Lulu Sugar Rush.
Mhm.
That's something that I love to do. So I always tell people, it's a service that you provide. You should always have a service that you provide, a product that you sell, and you should be able to sell yourself. So that's where the I Love Lulu brand came in and where I'm a media influencer for. You know, I'm in my stride. You know what I'm
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about and I'm gonna let you go.
saying?
The candy business. I think
Oh
that's
man.
yeah. Like,
So I have all of your old school and new school candy and adult treats.
mhm.
So like your
And a who?
adult treats,
Adultery?
adult treats.
Adult treats.
Yes.
Okay. Well, tell us about it.
I mean, a little bit about that too. Well, kind of,
Okay.
that's in there too, but we kind of shifted,
Yeah.
a
Absolutely.
texture of my personality. I'm being authentically myself through everything that I'm doing.
Yeah. Absolutely. We
So
wouldn't want you any other kind of way.
you really don't. Leave it to you,
Okay.
but you really don't.
No. Right. 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 Right.
Yeah, so I sell your old school and new school candy and
Mhm.
adult fun items. Yeah.
I don't. You have to describe. Like I know like some lemon heads and some Alexanders. That's old school, and I know some new school candy. But just describe what are adult candy treats exactly, just for the listeners, so they'll
I
know.
mean, things that you can read, come back and tell me the memories about. You know? Um, yeah, so yeah.
It doesn't say. It doesn't say anything. Well, okay.
It'll put you in a stage of calm. It'll put you in a stage of um, learning new things about yourself.
Okay, so hold on. So I just so because we're talking, are these infused treats?
Yes.
Okay. See, what that's all. I was asking what because I didn't know if these were.
I'll be trying to, what I'm saying?
No. We're here. It's fine. We
Yeah, so
everybody.
yeah, I
Okay.
sell those things.
Okay. So there it is. Because I thought these were some other type of treats
Oh,
that
I
need.
have treats too, that you can explore with your partner.
Okay. Well, see, that's what I'm asking you. You're not telling me.
Well, we ain't had a conversation ahead of time, so I didn't know, I didn't want to be
You
too
said
graphic
we
because,
could talk
I
about
can't be.
anything. You said we could talk about
Well,
it.
I'll be trying to, be polished and refined. You know what I'm saying? I'm really working on myself, trying to be more focused.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But
So
I have things that you can explore with your mate,
okay.
and then I have adult treats, where they are infused drinks,
Okay.
candies,
Okay.
edible items that you can eat off of your partner, all of those things.
Yeah. Listen, you need what you need. Everybody needs what they need,
And
and
I got you, Woo.
you're here to help the people. You are here to help.
I got you, Woo. Come see your sugar mama.
You're here to. You're just trying to help the people. So
I'm just trying to help the people. I'm trying to help the people love because it's time to heal the land. It's time to heal the land through love.
amen. Amen. And so that's
I
awesome.
got Chico sticks, so most likely any
Hmm. Hmm. That's awesome. That's great. I,
leave it to Patrick.
I learned something new. Like I didn't. I just
I got
I
you.
just had some now laters or something. I didn't
Oh,
know.
I got those too. Yeah. Chico sticks, long boys,
Okay,
all of that.
that's
Yes.
awesome. That's awesome. Okay. Um. Okay.
Patrick, why you over there turning red?
I'm not. No. I know. I'm trying to understand, and you weren't. You weren't.
I was trying to be.
Okay. So, where can people reach out to you um for the candy for the business and stuff?
Definitely. On here it says, and I love Lulu Lang. But for Lulu Sugar Rush, you can rush.com. And you
Say
can
that. Say that to give the sugar rush. Give that information again.
always call Lulu Sugar. So
Hmm.
it's LULUSUGAH Rush RUSH.com. And you
Okay.
can book me for your upcoming events. I just did a prom and I just did, adult parties and stuff like that. So you can book me.
So describe adult parties. How are they differ from? No, I'm just playing. No, never mind. We don't.
Okay,
I'm just
so
playing. I'm
we're
just
gonna get into it. They may have some strippers, and
listen. All right.
they may have strippers and other things that's going on there. It's an exotic party.
And you
You
can
know,
sell candy or whatever you have
yep,
because
yep,
so there it
yep. They
is.
want their sugar mama, so hey, I'm not gonna turn down no money. Run that money to your sugar mama, okay?
I'm grateful that I have very interesting friends. That it makes life very colorful, and
Doesn't it?
yeah, you have all my support. Go ahead and get that money. Absolutely, go right ahead. I'm not. It is.
Look, I love what's so amazing about life is that you embrace it and you enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? And seeing people laugh. When I show up, I enjoy people coming to the table, whether it's a kids function or whatever I'm doing, because, of course we can switch it out. But,
Mhm.
like the prom that I just did, they came to the table and I was like, man, Lou, I remember the Chico sticks. I remember the long boys. And they tell me their stories. And then they also can create memories with me as well. So I love doing that. And that's all in line with, what I did with the other ventures that I had prior to that.
That's absolutely awesome.
I
Thank you for sharing.
love you, Patrick.
Yeah, that's great. Love you too. That's absolutely awesome. So before we go, I'm getting ready to let you go now. Um,
Okay.
every guest we do a quick round, 5 questions, real quick, just
Okay.
right off the top of your head, and then I can let you go. All right. First question is: do you believe in love at first sight?
You went away, but yes, I do.
You do. Okay, you do. You believe in love
Yes.
at first sight. Okay. Um, what has love taught you now that you didn't know then?
Don't give up on yourself
Hmm.
and to love yourself first before you can love others.
Okay. What do you believe about love now?
That's it. That it is available
Hmm.
and that I am deserving of it.
Wonderful. Um, what makes a good lover?
A listener and somebody that pay attention.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay. Last question. What brings you joy?
Family, family. Yeah.
Wonderful answers. Wonderful conversation. Wonderful.
Likewise.
Thank you for being with us. All of our guests, Latoya, Samantha, everybody. Thank you all for hanging out with us
Thank
and for
you.
sharing this. Thank you, Lulu,
Man, thank you for having me.
coming out your cave and
You my ivory to the ebony.
you
I,
know. Thank you for coming out. You got to come back one day and hang out some more. We got some more to talk about.
hey, you got me. You know what to do.
I appreciate it. All right,
And
you
thank you, everybody. Look, I
take
would tell everybody like, share, share, share. Okay?
absolutely. All right. Thank you all for hanging out with us. We'll be right back here again next Saturday for another conversation on the Love Again podcast. All right. Love you all. See you later. Bye bye.
Bye.